So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our event today. In this session, we have Anne Bloom. She is the president of ALB HR Solutions, and her topic is on providing a positive candidate experience. Anne is strategic and effective in leading talent, culture, and business operations with expertise lying in building strategy, culture, transformation, innovation, and growth. She is a relationship manager who builds cultures of inclusivity, diversity, equity, and collaboration, and is a highly influential professional striving for success through high understanding and optimism with a need for change, growth, and challenge. Good luck, Anne, on your presentation, and I'll come back near the end just to help close things out, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you, Sandra.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the session today. We're going to be talking about providing a positive candidate experience. As Sandra said, my name is Anne Bloom, and I am the president of ALB HR Solutions. So let's get started. There's been some talk amongst candidates today around the experience that they are having in dealing with organizations and leaders alike in organizations. And I thought that this would be a good topic to sort of talk about and see how we can better the experience for candidates. I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this topic because I've been unemployed for so many times. I've experienced what we will be talking about today, and I'd like to offer some solutions. This pandemic, as Mark said in his introduction, has done a lot of harm to candidates' morale. What it's done as well is it's created longer periods of unemployment, and leaders or executive are looking at 18 to 24 months of being in transition. In 2020, there were very, very few, if any, jobs available for people to apply to. Since losing their jobs, or employees who have lost their jobs continue to lose them. We know that we haven't seen the last of transitions. We haven't seen the last of bankruptcies. 15 months since the start of the pandemic, and now there are more opportunities available. But unfortunately, there are still thousands of people looking for work, as Mark already indicated. Up to 62% of employed people are looking for work. So if they had the opportunity today, they would leave where they're working and they would join another organization. And the reason that a lot of people are looking for work, even though they're employed, is because of their company. And if they don't want to work in an organization that is working remote or moving into a hybrid return to work, then they're going to look for an organization that meets their needs. 75% of unemployed people are currently looking for work. And the reason that that's 75% is because we heard last week that approximately 28% of people that were employed have now removed themselves from the list, but they are not working, they have not joined a company, and they're making other decisions on how they want to continue their career. We know that we haven't seen the last of layoffs and we haven't seen the last of bankruptcies. COVID-19 has taken so much from the population. It's taken livelihood, it's taken jobs. In some instances, it's taken dignity and self-respect. In other instances, it's built blended families. There's been a lot of loss in terms of employees or people being impacted by loss in their families. And a lot of people rethinking their careers. We've had some new buzzwords since the start of the pandemic: health, safety, wellness, diversity, equity, inclusivity are all the new buzzwords as we move forward. So what are candidates saying in terms of their experience as they're recruiting? Well, they're saying a lot of things, and a lot of them aren't pretty either. They're saying that they apply for a position that they believe they possess all the required skills, but they never hear back from the organization. They have an interview, they never hear back. They reach out to a hiring manager or a recruiter, they never hear back. My connection to the company walks my resume into the hiring manager. I never hear back. I send emails, leave voicemails, use a connection name as a soft introduction. I never hear back. If I hear back, I am told I am not the right fit for the company or the opportunity without giving any further explanation. Candidates today need feedback. They're looking for feedback. So I guess we all remember the golden rule from our elementary days. And that golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So what does this mean? This means treating people with respect and dignity and foresight and forethought. Candidates want you to understand the value add that they bring to the company, to your life, to their colleagues, and to the opportunity. They want to understand, and they want you to know that the value that they have and the confidence that they have in themselves is strong, but they need to be respected. They need to feel respect. They need to feel the dignity that they want in their workplace. So company reputation. Well, there's so much to be said about this. As hiring managers, recruiters, employees, you are the ambassador of your prospective companies. You hold the future of both yourselves and others in your hand, in your mind, and in your heart. So how would you like to be treated? I'm sure that you all want the respect that you know you need to be successful in your career. And candidates want the same thing. We all know today that people who are employed are busy. Your days are not your own. Departments are short-staffed. You feel like you're working 2 jobs, if not more, because you are short-staffed. Well, we all have to make sacrifices in the roles that we are playing today and that we are doing today, both as we look for our next career move, but also we don't want to sacrifice the common good. We don't want to sacrifice treating people with dignity and with respect. We want people to understand how important it is that we understand the value that they bring to the company, to the opportunity, and to their respective colleagues. So what makes a positive candidate experience? Well, there's a few things that we as recruiters and as leaders can do. Take 5 minutes out of your day to respond to a candidate, especially if you have interviewed them. Candidates are looking for feedback. If they weren't successful, they'd like to know how to do better in their next round of interviews. And so if they ask the question, please provide them the feedback. When you are starting the interview process with a candidate, please share the full process up front with them, including what dates are important for you and them to be meeting. If there are going to be subsequent interviews, when those subsequent interviews will be taking place, and the potential people they will be interviewing with throughout the process. What are your hiring deadlines? What's the number of interviews? Are you going to be doing background checks or reference checking? What does the onboarding process look like? What does orientation process look like? When are they going to be able to meet their colleagues and other employees within the company? We all know that onboarding in a pandemic is tough. It's hard for a new employee who has accepted a role to have never met their hiring manager, to have never met their team colleagues. They've never met face-to-face. They've never had, if they've had an eyeball-to-eyeball interview, it's been through Zoom or Teams or another source. And that's also very, very difficult. Now, when you wave to somebody on a screen, that's replacing the handshake. So candidates want to know what's going to happen with the organization and when they're going to be able to come back to the office, whether it be hybrid or full-time. Orientation as well in a pandemic is tough. Who will the new employee be meeting with to better understand their role and importance to the overall company? When will they be meeting with them? How quickly after they join will orientation take place? And provide that orientation calendar to the new employee so that they know exactly the expectations that they need to meet and the expectations that the organization is setting out for them. So there are some takeaways. It takes a long time to keep and to make the culture and reputation of a company. However, it takes a very short time, if no time at all, to tear down what has been built. As ambassadors to the organization, please make sure that you are doing everything humanly possible to maintain the culture and the reputation of your company. It takes no time to lose respect, to lose dignity, to lose self-confidence of an employee who has been forgotten about and or ignored. Please don't ghost potential candidates. Ghosting sends the bad message. It sends the wrong message, and one that I'm sure none of us would like to be on the receiving end of. So you want to make sure that you're sending the right message to the candidate. You want to make sure that that message is one of positivity, is one of acceptance, is one of understanding. Take the time out of your busy day to show you care and that you understand what a candidate is going through. Have the compassion, the empathy that you expect and deserve from others. As we go through this most difficult time, and it is a difficult time, the last 15 months have been difficult both for employees and people who have been employed, but also for people who have found themselves in transition and looking for work. It's been very, very difficult. So, a few things to please remember. Be positive, be compassionate, be caring, be respectful, be the ambassador that will make your company proud they hired you, and show the candidate that your company has the colleagues they want to work with. This is all so important. And there's small little things that we can do to make the candidate experience a more positive experience, not only for the candidate, but also for you as the interviewer. So I know I went through that fairly quickly, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And we've got about 10 minutes left for questions and for conversations. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know them, and we can talk about them through the chat. Any questions that anybody has?
Hi, Anne.
Hi.
Sorry, are you able to provide any links into the chat, perhaps your LinkedIn or an email, so if people want to contact you after as well, they can do so?
Yep, happy to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to connect with anybody. who wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, and happy to speak with anybody outside of this venue who would like some information or just to chat. Happy to be available.
Hi, Anne. Sorry. I had a question on one of your points. You had mentioned that candidates, if let's say they don't get the job, they would like to get some feedback as to why they may have not gotten that job. Are you able to
Yep.
maybe go into more detail about like what else candidates could potentially maybe be asking for if they didn't end up getting the job? Like what other points or feedback are employers able to give other than just, pointers for maybe how they were interviewing or the experience that they need?
So I think that's a good point, Sandra, because candidates are looking for information back on, did they provide the right information during the interview so that the recruiter understood exactly what their skills, what skills they bring to the position and to the opportunity. And the feedback that they're looking for is if they didn't say enough, if they didn't go into enough detail, then what would recruiters really be seeking? Oftentimes, a candidate doesn't ask for follow-up on a question or for clarification on a question, and they start to respond to that question. Mm-hmm. But they don't respond to it in the manner in which the recruiter is looking for. I would suggest to the recruiter to make themselves better understood. Repeat the question in a way that clarifies exactly what is being asked of the candidate so that they know how to ask them. Ask follow-up questions if you're not sure, so that a candidate has an opportunity to provide additional information that they may not have provided in response. It depends on the interview itself. Some interviews today and some recruiters today have conversations with the candidate, and they ask questions in a conversational tone. And that may put a candidate at ease, but it may put them at ease too much that they don't give the information that the recruiter is looking for. Mm-hmm. So be sure to follow up. Be sure to ask the right question. Be sure to ask exactly what you are looking for as it relates to the opportunity that you're interviewing for.
Okay, and then the other question I actually had is you touched on also onboarding, virtual onboarding, and how it's very different, obviously, during the pandemic. So I guess just going off of that, is there other ways like recruiters are able to make candidates feel more comfortable when they are coming on to a new organization or company? Like if there are some other points that you can bring up to help that transition?
Yeah, it's a hard one when you're onboarding remotely, because when you're in an organization, recruiters and teams took the opportunity to have a desk for the employee. They made sure that the desk had pads of paper and pens and pencils and a phone and a laptop and everything to make them feel welcome on their first day. Well, now all of those supplies and assets are being delivered to the employee's home, and the employee has to call into technical support to be hooked up. It's a very, very different candidate experience. And so you want to make sure that you have a manual that you provide with all of the assets that lets the employee know extensions of people in the organization, who they can find and what their roles are in that organization. You want to have a list of who will that new employee be speaking to within their first week or two of being at the company, and what are their roles, and what should that conversation be all about? What should you be discussing with that person? You want to make sure that they understand how to hook up their computer. Do they need to use VPN? Are the tokens all set up for them, and are they delivered at the time they need to be delivered? There's so much to think about when you're onboarding. And onboarding and orientation are two separate things. So onboarding is providing the assets, it's providing the supplies, it's letting employees feel comfortable on their first day of work. Orientation is teaching them about the company, about what does the company do that they may not have learned in the interview process, but it's going into additional information. So how will that orientation happen once an organization or once an employee joins an organization? Who will they be meeting with? How long will those meetings be? How often will they be speaking with their manager? And how will their manager be setting the tone of the employment for them? Are there goals and objectives that they're going to need to complete? There's again so many questions and so many things that need to be included in both an onboarding and an orientation process, and outlining them very, very clearly.
Okay, is there anything else that you wanted to add in regards to this topic today?
There's so much to add. I didn't think I had enough time, and I've obviously finished a lot sooner than I thought I would.
No worries at all.
But, I suggest that recruiters and companies and hiring managers understand that it's hard for new employees to join an organization when they've never met anybody face to face. They haven't shaken hands, they haven't had a drink with anybody, they haven't sat across a table from somebody other than through Zoom or through Teams. And it's important to make somebody feel welcome. It's important to make them feel like they're part of the team from day one, from hour one. And that means having a team meeting, introducing somebody to the team as quickly as possible, so that the person coming in understands what the team is doing and what the different people in the team are responsible for, as well as how they can interact with those people on the team. Build those relationships as quickly as possible.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your presentation today. I know we did finish a little bit earlier, but that's okay. If you want, the viewers are able to go over to our networking portion of the event. We have about 10-ish minutes, well, less than 10 minutes left until the next session start at 3 o'clock. And over there, you can perhaps connect with Anne if she's going to be in the networking, or any other attendees at the event. Yeah, so if there's not anything else to add, I think that was great.
That was great. Thank you very much for your time, everyone, and for attending. I will go over to the networking group and hope to see you there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.